What's up, Burke fam? I'm Steve from Burke Family 54 Comics, and if you couldn't already tell, this is a little bit of a different episode today. This is my first podcast. Yes, you are listening to the first ever Burke Family 54 Comics podcast. I've been wanting to do one of these for a while, but have never really done it. I don't know why, but I decided just to go ahead and give it a try. And this is going to be episode 1. I'm going to try to drop these every week or so on like a Tuesday night or Wednesday morning for people that are listening to it on their commute to work on Wednesday. So let's go ahead and start talking about my first podcast, what we're going to be doing today. First off, thank you guys for listening, and thank you to my channel members. We have, I think, 15 or 16 channel members right now. Thank you to the family tier. Ruben Guzman, Legion of Comics, that is Brent and Mark, The Cover Collector, Mike V, Deep Dive Comics, Flash 6792, Comic Book Poser, and Selwyn, Collectibles Lounge. Thank you guys for being family tier members. Thank you to my friend tier. We got DJ Links, and thank you to all my supporter tier members as well. Today's podcast will be broken down into 3 parts. And part 1 will be my new Comic Book Day poll. I'm going to be talking about what books I'm going to be grabbing this week. Part 2, I'm going to be talking about TV shows and how awesome it is to be in like a 90s kid. And then in part 3, I'm going to be talking about the comic book community. So let's go ahead and get started. So like I said, topic number 1 is my new Comic Book Day poll list. This is going to be I'm going to try to do this every single week because I can't actually get to the comic store on Wednesdays because of work. I don't actually get there until Thursday, but I want to talk about what books I'm going to be grabbing this week. So this week is November 4th, 2020. That is when New Comic Book Day is this week. And I'm going to be talking about what I'm grabbing here. First off, you guys already know I'm going to be getting Mighty Morphin number 1. Obviously, I love Power Rangers. This book is going to be huge. The series is going to be huge. Ryan Parrott does a great job writing Power Ranger comic books. I'm excited about Mighty Morphin number 1. We have Batman number 102. James Tynion IV is doing great things on Batman. He's bringing in all these new characters. Punchline, Clown Hunter, Designer, Ghostmaker. I'm excited to see what he's going to do here with Ghostmaker and just the whole Batman line in general. I'm pretty excited about it. We have Thor number 9, which is obviously Donny Cates' title, one of Donny Cates' titles out. He's been doing awesome things on Thor. I remember when it first came out, I wasn't going to pick up issue 1, but I decided to give it a try. And I'll tell you what, Thor has been amazing since issue 1. Donny Cates is doing great things. Nick Klein, the artist, is back in this issue. So I'm excited to see what happens. We got some Donald Blake stuff happening in this issue. So I'm excited to see what happens in this book. Firepower number 5 is the next book I'm going to grab. I love Robert Kirkman's work here on Firepower. It's been amazing. I remember when the Firepower Free Comic Book Day book came out. Everyone was posting about it, and I didn't get one when it came out. When the free ones came out, because my shop for some reason didn't get it. But I went to another shop and they had it, and I decided to read it. And holy cow, it was so good. Every single book has been good. If you haven't already picked up the OGN for Firepower, it kind of is like a prequel to the Firepower books. Make sure you check it out. It is really, really good. It's probably the best part of the whole series so far, but I'm excited to see what happens here in issue 5 with the Dragon's Claw interrupting Owen and his wife's dinner. And then in Deceased Dead Planet number 5, that is coming out this week. Definitely got to get it. Getting me the Matina variant. I love all the Matina variants for the Deceased books. Tom Taylor is doing a great job on this series. He's just a really good writer in general, honestly. And at the end of last issue, we saw that Darkseid is kind of like a zombie now. He's kind of back to life. So I'm excited to see what happens here. I keep saying I'm excited because I am. I love comic books. I'm excited about them. We got number 5 of 6, Deceased Dead Planet. So that is my poll for the week. There are a couple others that I'm kind of on the fence on getting. Crossover number 1 by Donny Cates. Obviously, everyone's talking about it. It's another one of those independent Donny Cates books that is coming out. It sounds really interesting, and I read a little bit about it, but I remember hearing on Mark and Brent's new comic book day poll list from Legion of Comics. They're talking about what's happening in this book, and I didn't really hear about it very much until they said it. Basically, it's going to be where a comic shop owner has like this alternate universe come from that like comic book into their universe. And that's what the book is going to be about, how it's spilling over into another dimension. So it sounds pretty cool, but I mean, I have a pretty big list already. Maybe I'll grab it next week. I don't know. Web of Venom, Empire's End #1 also comes out this week. I love Venom, but I didn't read any of the Empire books like at all. So I don't really know what's going to happen in this, but I love Venom. We've got the King in Black coming soon. I want to say it was Venom Wraith that came out recently, or I can't remember what the name of it is, but it was really, really good. Anything Venom is good, and I'm excited about the King in Black. Probably not going to grab this because there's already going to be so many books already of the King in Black, but it looks pretty cool. The cover's pretty cool. We got TMNT Jenica 2 #1. I love Jenica as a turtle. I really do. But honestly, I feel like she's only good when she's with the other turtles. That's what makes her interesting. Her by herself, I don't feel like she's that interesting by herself, but in general of her and the other turtles and Casey Jones and Splinter and all that, she's a good addition to the team, but individually, I'm not a huge fan, so I'm probably not going to grab it. But if I do, I'll probably get the Justine Franny the 616 Comics exclusive because it looks pretty cool. I like it. And then Wolverine, Black, White, and Blood #1. Sounds amazing. It's kind of a cover buy for a lot of people just because that cover looks sick. Just like the cover for Deadpool #8. Looks really good. So those would be cover buys if you're looking to buy like a book just for its cover. But I'm probably not going to get either one of those just because I don't want to spend too much on new comics. I'd rather spend that on, like a key or something, or save up for something that I really want. There's some other books that I'm hearing good things about. People are saying good things about Ultraman. Rise of Ultraman #3 comes out this week. That's written by Kyle Higgins. He used to do Power Rangers. I've been hearing really good things about Avengers. We got Avengers 38 coming out this week. That story just ended with Moon Knight. Heard great things from Mark Spector Comics, and Dustin from Two Bros, and Pandas from 316 Adrian. All said great things about that, but I never got into it, so probably not going to get that one either, but I've heard really good things about it. And That Texas Blood #5 is another book that I've heard really good things about. Let me know in the comments here, what books are you grabbing this week? What do you guys think of my list again? I'm going to go back over my list in case you forgot it. I'm going to be grabbing Mighty Morphin #1, Batman #102, Thor #9, Firepower #5, and Deceased Dead Planet #5. So that is my poll for the week. Just 5 books. I'm on the fence on Crossover 1, Web of Venom, Empire's End #1, TMNT Jenica 2 #1. Those are the ones I'm on the fence on. So that is my new comic book day poll for the week. So that is going to end the first section here of my first ever podcast. Thanks everyone for listening. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. Part 2, I'm going to be talking about just how awesome it is to be a 90s kid. And I feel like we were growing up in like the best era ever. To be like a comic book fan and just a fan in general of TV and movies and all of that. Because as a kid, we had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we had Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, or any of the other seasons after that. We had TGIF on Fridays, which if you guys remember, that was Full House, Boy Meets World, Step by Step, Family Matters, and a lot of other shows. I think Sabrina the Teenage Witch was one of them as well. I love watching it every Friday. We had the Cartoon Network. You guys remember that? We had Powerpuff Girls, I should say. My daughter really likes the updated version of that. Dexter's Lab was a pretty good show. Johnny Bravo. Hey, Johnny Bravo. Look at that good-looking man in the mirror. I love Johnny Bravo. He was great. Space Ghost was always funny to watch late at night. Nickelodeon, we had Rugrats, Hey Arnold, Doug, Kenan and Kel, all that. A ton of other awesome shows on Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon's still huge, but I feel like it was bigger in the 90s for sure. And obviously we had all the Disney shows and movies and, Aladdin, Lion King, and all of that. But there are other awesome movies that came out in the 90s too. Like we had Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, pretty much anything Adam Sandler did in the 90s was really good. Dumb and Dumber, everyone remembers that. I love that movie. So good. Shawshank Redemption, Terminator number 2, Wayne's World, all the Disney movies. I talked about a few already. Varsity Blues, love that movie. It's definitely one of my favorite football movies or sports movies. Men in Black, and there's a ton of other ones. And now that we're older, we're getting like remakes of a lot of our favorite shows, movies, all of that stuff. And we didn't really get any of that as like a kid. We didn't get really that many remakes. They're kind of like running out of ideas in Hollywood, so they're kind of remaking everything that we liked as a kid because now we can watch it again as an adult, but with our children. You know what I mean? And I feel like the MCU is helping bring us more comic book movies and shows in general. Obviously we always had Batman movies. My favorite comic book movies are the Christian Bale Batman trilogy. Obviously The Dark Knight is the best one, but all of them are really good. But right now we have some of the best comic book shows, or kind of like nerd shows, I guess you could say, with The Flash. The Flash is bar none my favorite TV show, regardless of genre. But The Mandalorian is another show, and I'm not a Star Wars guy, but The Mandalorian is really, really good. I've really enjoyed it. I just did a reaction for it as I watched it the other day, and it did pretty well for like just an impromptu live stream. I might do that every week. Maybe I'll start doing it on Friday when it comes out. I don't know, but it's pretty good. And that's not the only comic book movie or show that's came out. The first few seasons of Arrow was really good. And I love how I can still go back and watch any of the TMNT movies or the cartoon show or the new show or any of them or any of the old Power Ranger shows and movies. I could go back and watch TMNT 1 and the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie from 95 and it still holds up. It is still really good. I love it because I just feel like anyone in their 30s kind of grew up in the best of times to watch shows and movies, whether it's about comic books, cartoons, or other things. I just feel like we grew up in the best era. And I didn't even mention the 80s kids that grew up watching Voltron and Transformers and all of that. So I just feel like I'm blessed, and I feel like we're all blessed, honestly. If you're listening to this, you're probably around the same age as me anyways. I feel like we're pretty blessed to be in the era we are, watching the movies and shows and getting all these amazing comic books every single week. They're all really good. The art is good. The covers are good. I just feel like we're in a great time to be, comic book fan or a TV fan or a movie fan. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought of my 90s segment here. What was your favorite shows or movies as a kid? And if you like Power Rangers, which Power Ranger was your favorite? Obviously for me, Green Ranger. He's the best. Love Tommy Oliver. He's awesome. Someone did tell me, I think it was Dragon Ranger or someone else, or Cosmic Ranger on Twitter. They did say that they feel like Tommy Oliver, the character, and then JDF, the actor, kind of like merged into one person over the years from doing cons and whatnot and always just playing him. So, I don't disagree, but I still love Tommy. I still love JDF. I still love Green Ranger. I love the new Green Ranger coming out. I'm excited to see who it could possibly be. I think it's obviously Matt, but, it could be anyone. You are going to find out in Mighty Morphin number 1. It comes out Wednesday about who it possibly is not. I'm going to say that. And you're going to get further indication about who it's not next week in Power Rangers number 1. So that's a little spoiler there for you. Just a little tidbit for you. Okay. All right. Let's move on to segment number 3, this comic book community. This community is great. Everyone talks about how awesome it is. We very rarely have tension between, comic book IG people or YouTube people in general. It's just amazing. I remember starting my comic book Instagram in the summer of 2018 just because I wanted to post, I wanted to find people that were like me, you know what I mean? Because I don't really have that many friends that collect comic books around me. I live in a small town in Kansas, There's not many people around me, and obviously a lot of us, they call us nerds because a lot of us We just read our comic books in our little room or in our living room or by ourselves. We don't really get to see other people talking about them. So I wanted to find a safe place where I could post things about it and not feel, weird. So I started an Instagram 2018. And, after a while, Instagram became not as much fun as another area, and that's YouTube. My first comic book YouTube video that I watched was Matt Thanatos hanging out with Reggie Collects. At the time, I think it was IFBB Pro Reggie Simmons, and I think he had like 1,000 subs or something. I don't know. It was something like, it wasn't anywhere near where he is now. And that was back when we were using Google Hangouts, where it was only a full screen of one person or a full screen of another person. You couldn't put multiple people on the screen. It was crappy, but I remember when it went away, everyone's like, oh, what are we going to do now? It's so much better now, obviously. And in this live stream, neither one of them had like a comic book background. Like there was no comics on the wall. I think Reggie was sitting in his kitchen, and I want to say Matt was like visiting a friend or a family member in Nebraska. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But I remember the first comic book YouTube video that I watched was a live stream with Matt Thanatos and Reggie Collects, and it was awesome. And I started watching this and commenting, and they were commenting back in my comments, and I was like, wow, this is like super interactive and like fun. And then I started watching other videos, and I started watching more videos and more videos and more videos. I love the unboxing videos. I loved the preview videos, the review videos of the same books that I'm reading. You know what I mean? And, some of the other channels I watched were, John's Comics with Kids. I loved watching his Saturday show with my daughter because he has his daughters on his show. Comic Tom, I remember when he posted like his first video or his first couple of videos, he had his dad on, hearing some stories about back in the day going to Comic Cons. And I remember like listening to those and thinking, man, this is really cool to hear all these old stories about comic books. Obviously, Simple Man's Comics is another one I watched. I think he had like 2,000 or 3,000 subs back when I was watching Brian from Simple Man's. And then obviously Bueller and more. And I was thinking, man, this is really cool. I should try this. And, I do teach photography and video and audio for a living as a high school teacher. But, it's one thing to do it all day, like teaching kids. It's another thing to do it yourself and to put yourself out there. And then I was kind of challenged by John from John's Comics with Kids to start my own YouTube. So in January of 2019, I put up my very first YouTube video. It was a live stream. And honestly, I remember when I did it, hardly anyone came on. I think I had no one watching for the first 3, maybe 4 minutes. And then a few people started trickling in. I think I only had like 8 subscribers at the beginning, and now I have 1,600. It's crazy, like if you put in the work, people will watch. It's kind of like if you build it, they will come. So I remember my first video, like I said, no one was watching for the first couple minutes, and then people started coming in. Like I said, Karate Kevin was one of the first people to watch my first video. We had TJ the Slime Dragon Watson, and then I had a couple people that were watching, and then they joined, either that one or the next one, I can't remember. But my first guest that ever joined my live stream was D-Runk Comics, my friend George. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome dude. I've met him in person many times. He's a great friend. And basically, like, how he's like, he encapsulates what this comic book community is about. He was there to join me, to just help me through my first live stream with the guests. And it was awesome. And he wasn't the only person on there. I had Comic Head 84, Kenny, that was on there. Then I had Matt Thanatos join me. And it was a lot of fun. And since that video, like I said, I started at 8 subscribers, and now I'm at 1,640 or something. It took me almost 2 years to get there, but it was a lot of fun, getting to where I'm at right now. And I just want to say thank you to anyone who's ever watched any of my videos or who has supported me or is a channel member or has liked or commented. I know a lot of people, don't comment, but the people that do comment, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Anyone that doesn't comment, I thank you too, just for watching my videos. I get, DMs all the time from people, thanking me for putting out the videos that I do. That's, giving information to them, helping them with whatever they're doing. And then I get questions all the time as well, asking my opinions on things, if I can help them with something. I think I want to say that I've helped probably 3 to 5 people, help them with their logo or their intro or something like that. I think I've even edited a few videos for a couple of people. And I have no problem doing that. I want people to be able to come to me for help. It's not just because whether I had 8 subscribers or 1,600 or 1,000 or whatever. I want people to be able to come to me for help because I can help them. You know what I mean? Because I just like I want to be able to go to someone else and ask for help. Reggie Collects and Bueller are 2 people that I asked a lot of questions about once I got monetized, asking their suggestions on things, asking how they did things, all of that stuff. And they were very, very, very helpful with my channel, helping me with things. And then obviously Brian from Simple Mans has done a phenomenal job helping me with my channel, doing these comic book cover announcements, coming on my channel, answering questions. He's one of 3 or 4 people I've had on to talk about how to run a comic book YouTube channel. Brian did an awesome job just about a week or 2 ago. And then I had Bueller on, and then I also had the late comic Jabroni on. Rest in peace, Jabroni. We love you and we miss you, and we will never forget you, man. But all 3 of those people came on my channel just because I asked them to, you know what I mean? And they were humble enough to come on to help me, help my subscribers, help the community. And that's what this community is about, helping everyone, being there for everyone, regardless of whether or not you're getting paid for something or whatever. When people ask me to be on their channel, I 9 times out of 10 say yes. I'm not a good debater. The comic book poser can attest to that. But when he asked me to be on his channel, I said, sure, yeah, of course. I work in the same district as Dustin, so I had no problem being on his channel. It's always kind of fun also be on someone else's channel because you kind of get to be a little more goofy. You don't have to be as structured. You can just have a little bit more fun as a guest. And so if you're one of the people that's needs help with something or wants me to come on your channel sometime, just let me know. I'm here for you because just like everyone else has helped me, I want to be able to help the community as well because that's what this community is about. It's an amazing comic book community, and I'm thankful for everyone's help, and I'm thankful for everyone that's been supporting me from the beginning. Thank you guys very, very much. So that concludes my very, very first podcast. Thank you guys for listening. I had a great time. Let me know in the comments if you guys think I should continue to do this. I'm thinking about doing it once a week, like I said, in a 3-part podcast here. The first part always being my new comic book day poll, and then the other 2, I'll just change up what I'm going to be talking about that week. You know what I mean? I had a great time. Thanks, everyone, for listening. And you guys know what I'm about to say. And as always, go Cats, Cowabunga, and it's Morphin time.